Hey, so I wanted to talk about some important tools that I feel will be helpful to yourself and humanity on this journey. So all the steps and all the stuff I'm talking about is nothing you have to do. I'm not trying to say you have to do it in this order. I'm not saying any of that. In fact, my stuff doesn't really have an order. I'm just sharing the order I went through it in because that's my experience and that's what I can share. And other people, you go through life and go through situations when you're meant to, when it arises. And from there, you can decide what to do then. So all I can do is share kind of how I went through it and my advice, opinions, and tips. And then from there, you decide how you want to use it, when you want to use it, if you want to use it, whatever you want to do with it. So I think there's some important things that will help along the way. Number one, for sure, I believe to start with is honesty. And when I talk about honesty, I'm talking about honesty to yourself mainly. I'm trying to say, like for honest, I think honesty to others and honesty to yourself, honesty just all around the block. Like the truth shall set you free, and that is so true. I don't know how other people feel, but I know that when I was a young person and I used to lie, I remember all that weight on my shoulders. It was so heavy, and trying to remember, who you lied to, what you lied about, the stories, and then trying to keep that lie going. Oh, it was such a chore, and it was so much, and it just made me feel so shitty. When I was about 12 years old, I lied to my mom, and she sat me down and she told me, Nessa, you can lie all you want. It really doesn't bother me. I just want you to know that the only person it's hurting is yourself. And I sat and thought about that for a while because that was a pretty heavy statement and in depth. And I realized the truth behind it. And why am I putting myself through all this turmoil of weight of lies and lies upon lies and trying to remember them all and then getting caught for them and hurting people anyways? Like, do you know the face people make when they just caught you in a lie and then you just feel horrible and you're just like, blah, get me out of this situation? Well, guess what? You're the one that kind of put yourself in that situation. So, I mean, you can do what you want about it. If you want to experience those things again, continue to do so. But for me, I didn't want to anymore. I was done with feeling any of those feelings anymore. And so I made a decision to not lie anymore. I made a decision to just come clean and be true to myself and others because honestly, it lifted me up. I had all this weight off my shoulders. I feel so light. And it's funny about feeling light is because not only are you physically light, mentally, emotionally light, you just are light all around you. Everything is no longer weighed down. You don't have to rethink, second think, anything. You're just true to who you are, and it makes such a big difference, a huge difference. It's so amazing, a great feeling that I'm doing this video. The basis of so many things is being honest to be uplifted. It's pretty sick. I mean, what's the other saying about honesty? Well, the truth hurts. Yeah, the truth does hurt, but only for a bit until you get over it and you accept it and then continue going. What hurts more is when you tell a lie, but the truth is still there because the truth is still going to hurt, but it even hurt that you lied to them, though maybe they can understand why you might have lied to them because they understood that you didn't want to hurt them. But I mean, it takes all this time, and all of that time and effort and hurt and all of that stuff could have been avoided just being honest from the get-go. It's kind of like a shortcut. I actually wrote it down as honesty is the shortcut to life. I mean, it kind of is. It's really fun. It's awesome. I think it's awesome because people get to know who you are. You get to know who you are. They know where you stand. There's no fakeness among it, But I mean, again, up to you how you want to live. That's just my advice. The other ones were my little book, Life According to Ness. Can you see it? Ooh, okay. This comes along with being honest to yourself and others. Be gentle with yourself, okay? That one's not an easy one. Another thing is it goes along with being the worst critic too. So we are our own worst critics usually. There are some people out there, because everything is not absolutely in one way. It never is. But so there are some people out there that are not their own worst critics, which isn't bad. I mean, it's a good thing, but at the same time, sometimes they give themselves more credit than maybe they should, which isn't a bad thing either. But it's just, I mean, there's it's such a spectrum. Everything in life, I always call it the spectrums, because it's always, one end, the other end, completely extremes, and then it's the middle. The middle is the best. Yes, the middle. Oh, the middle. That was appreciating the middle. Anyways, be kind to yourself, because we are our own worst critics, and we can be kind of harsh enough to the point where we no longer do anything about it, because we're so mean to ourselves that we get ourselves down there and we just stay down there, and we kind of use that as like a nice little excuse, or just a little kind of get out of jail free card of having to do anything or take responsibility of it, which is fine too, because everywhere in life is up to you. Are you happy? Continue that way then. Are you not happy? Up to you. Do you want to continue that unhappy road, or do you want to perhaps start stepping towards happiness, But at the same time, that can only happen if you feel you deserve it. So be gentle with yourself and others. Big one. Yeah, like about being gentle with yourself, it's like, what would you do for someone else in that situation? For your friend, for your family, if they're going through the same thing that you were, how would you react to it? Be that to yourself, Be that support, be that encouragement, be all of that you would to someone else, to yourself. And if you're going to be all that mean stuff to someone else, be that mean stuff to yourself too. It's just, I mean, I hate to say this, but again, up to you. Because everything that we experience in life is up to us. Okay, the other one is, I already talked about this, the spectrum. So basically, no, both exist is what I have written here. And the best is usually in the middle. And that is so true in my eyes anyways. So basically, when going through anything, even if it's with yourself, but even with others, mostly because this is about our relationships with ourselves and others. And even if you have a relationship with yourself, that's still kind of two, even though we're one. But anyways, no, I'm not crazy. It's just, your inner voice and your other voice, and it's just, do they talk the same? Anyways, so both exist, meaning in a situation, there is that solution and that solution. Or that opinion, that perspective, it's always existing. This, the opposite always exists. This, the opposite always exists. This, the opposite always exists. And I find what's in the middle. Whenever you have the two extremes, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to always go middle, but even just consider the two and decide from there. If you just choose this, or if you just choose this, it's kind of like when you look at all of life. It's that spectrum. You don't always have to be doing everything like this, but it's like sometimes you choose this, sometimes you choose that, sometimes you choose this, sometimes you choose that, and it just kind of starts working itself out. But anyways, just knowing that they both exist is what's important, and knowing that just because you choose one side, it doesn't necessarily mean everyone is going to choose that side. And it's allowing for that. And this one I find really important too is view all with a compassionate lens. That one I think is super important, is because if you view things from anger, if you view things from vengeance, if you view things from happiness even, it's fine, all of that. View things from wherever you want, as long as you know that's where you're viewing it from. As long as you know that your opinions are coming from that place, then, fine, continue. But for honest, viewing things from a place of compassion, that leads to understanding, that leads to allowing things to be. You accept it. And from there you decide, do you feel it needs to change? Do you feel that you can do anything about it? Is there anything you can do about it? Because if you don't accept it and let it be, you're not really accepting it for what it is. I don't want to say that you're not really letting it be what it is, but you kind of aren't. It means that in a way, you're kind of lying to yourself, I guess, because everything can be viewed at from so many perspectives and angles and vantage points, because that's just the way everything is. I mean, it can be said about this. You can view it, you're seeing that side, right? That's what you see, not knowing what's on this side. And I see this side, not knowing what's on this side. But at the same time, now we know both exist, so... Don't know if that was a good example, but it is what it is. Okay, so those are the tools that I think will help through this kind of stuff. I'm gonna dive into honesty a bit more because to me that is really the number one. The rest are kind of just things to keep in mind as we go along. So yes, be honest, be kind to yourself, be gentle about situations. Know that both exist, and you know there's also the middle, but there's all the in between that as well, and also view things from a compassionate lens. All right, love you guys, and into the next one, which will, well, I'm going to talk about honesty in the next one. I don't know if that's what you're going to see, but peace out.